the wudu. And we said a lot of us seem that have confusion about certain parts of the wudu. Okay? So I will do two types of wudu. Okay? Two types of wudu. There is one wudu which is al-mujzi. Okay? Wudu al-mujzi is the wudu, the minimum wudu that suffices the requirement. And then there's a wudu al-kamil, which is the complete wudu, that obviously includes the arkan al-wudu, the mandatory parts of al-wudu, and the sunnah of al-wudu. Okay? So again, the two types of wudu. One type, which is minimal, that only includes the obligatory part, wajibat, according to the ayah of al-ma'i, ayat al-wudu. This is wudu you can make, okay? And the complete wudu, which also you can make, which is most people make. But the reason I mentioned the other one, because most of the time, when we do not fulfill the wudu the way we're supposed to, because we're rushing. So I'm not gonna give you a way. You don't have to rush, and you cut your wudu to half. Maybe more. Maybe in a bottle of water, a small bottle of water, you can finish your wudu. You don't need the tank. Okay? طيب. Allah Azza wa Jal says in ayat al-Ma'idah, يا أيها الذين آمنوا إذا قمتم إلى الصلاة فاغسلوا وجوهكم. So the first rukn of the wudu, the first, and I'm talking about the minimal wudu, okay? The first mandatory part of the wudu is obviously niyyah, okay? You have to have the intention for wudu. Because if you don't have that intention, you have intention to cool yourself or to clean yourself, that will not count as wudu. Okay? Anyway. Okay? So until you have intention, you stand in front of the sink to make wudu. First thing according to the ayah is wash your face. Washing your face. Okay? Now washing the face from manabit al-shar, from where your hair grows. Okay? Which is the top of your forehead. Pass it all the way to you, through your ear, the border, the front of your ear, to the jaw. Okay? So these are the borders from ear to ear width, from the beginning of the hair. If you don't have hair, where the hair used to be. Maybe you don't have hair, but you still know where the hair starts. To the chin. That is the face. That must be covered with water. Okay? You must wet that. Including in the face, the mouth and the nose. مع خلاف. But we're going to talk about the safe way. The mouth, rinsing the mouth and rinsing the nose, included in the face. And you're obligated once. That's the obligatory, to do it once. Okay? Not three. Now we're talking about the minimum. Once. Okay? So that is the first obligation after the knee. Wash the face completely, including rinsing the mouth and the nose, and that can be with one, the mouth and the nose, with one scoop. So there are many ways, but one way is a scoop of water. Half of it goes in the mouth, half of it you breathe it in, and then you blow your nose, and you spit the water. You're done with the face. First obligation. وَأَيْدِيكُمْ. The next part is your arms. Okay? Your arms. And listen to this carefully. The arm starts. Now washing, we're still washing. From the tip of your fingers. From the tip of your fingers, or the tips of your fingers, to the elbow, including the elbow. وَأَيْدِيَكُمْ إِلَى it's وَأَيْدِيكُمْ وَامْسَحُوا بِوُجُوهِكُمْ وَأَيْدِيكُمْ إِلَى الْمَرَافِقِ. الجروح. Okay? From the tips of your fingers to the elbow included. All right? Once. That's the obligatory. Once. So you make sure the water touches everywhere, from the tips of the fingers, including the elbow, to the elbow, and what's in between. You start with the right, obviously, and you go with the left. Once. Huh? وامسحوا برؤوسكم. وامسحوا رؤوسكم. And then you wipe on the head, on the hair. The way you do that, you wet your hands, okay? And you go back and forth. Right. You're back. Okay. So you wet your hands. Okay, let's just go quick. Water. Go with your face, huh? You see? Now if you have a thick beard, try to get the water in between. Okay? You don't have to, but try. With your fingers, the same, huh? And you go like this. If you have a thin beard, then you don't worry about it. If you have no beard, grow one. Alright? When it comes to the arms, you go with water, there, or you fill your hands. Make sure the water goes all the way. Okay? One time. But make sure it's right. From the tips of the fingers to the elbow included. Alright? And the same thing with the left. When it comes to the hair, you wet the hands, and you go from the front, back and forth. Back and forth. Once. With the same hands, the ears. No neck. That's the obligate, because the ears part of the head. The same hands. Back and forth, and the ears. Okay? And the fourth obligation or rukun is the feet. Okay? The feet, obviously, including the ankles. Okay? And al-aql, which is the back of the foot. The bottom of the foot, the top of the foot, the ankles included, and the back of the foot. Many of us forget the back. And even if it's a dime or an area of a penny left without water touching the place or the area supposed to, your wudu is invalid. Clear? Just make sure. It doesn't take much effort. Okay? And then you do the left foot. Alright? Now I don't need to show you how to do it, it's obvious. But I want you to make sure that water is reaching. Water is reaching. Okay? So that is the minimum. Once and once. So you see how quick your wudu can be? In 15 seconds you can be done, literally. So there is no need to rush. Now the complete wudu that includes everything else, Assunah, is in niyyah. And then say Bismillah, okay? And then you wash your hands. And in Hanabila this is mandatory if you're waking up. Okay? But anyway, you wash your hands to the wrists. Okay? And you go with the face 3 times. The mouth and the nose as well 3 times. And then you go with your arms again. Even you washed in the beginning, you still have to start from the tips of the fingers all the way to the elbow included 3 times. And the right side 3 times. Alright? And then you wipe with the head back and forth once with the ears. Only once. The head is only once. Alright? And then you go to the feet. Alright? 3 times the right foot, and 3 times the left foot. Okay? Now some people who like to wipe, one of the things to be careful of, when you're making wudu and you wash, because if you want to wipe on your socks or on your shoes, it has to meet a requirement. But let's assume it met the requirement. ومنها, your footwear must be thick. If you're gonna, عند الأحناف, it's only got to be leather. الخف must be out of leather. But عند الباقي, in the opinion of other schools, it doesn't have to be leather, as long as it's a footwear. Because the intention or the hikmah is taysir, to make it easy. But that footwear has to meet conditions. It's not like if you wipe on it, water reaches your skin. You're wearing silk-like socks. You don't wipe on. It's very thin. So what you're wearing needs to be thick enough that when you wipe on it, doesn't get wet and get through. And it must cover the ankle, which is the place of wudu. Okay? One of the mistakes a lot of people do, especially in public, if he's washing, okay? So he's washing, or wherever, he washes the first foot and he puts the socks on. Then he goes, washes the left foot, and puts the socks on. You cannot wipe later. It's a stronger opinion. Because you never put the socks on tahara. Because when you put the first sock, you did not have wudu. And the condition to be able to wipe, you have to have wudu. Clear? Make sense? So you make sure you wash both and then you put the socks on. Okay? And ulama talk about different scenarios, but this is something I want to point out. Alright? No. Mashi? Something to deal. So very much, all of you know wudu, mashallah, and I'm not telling you, you don't. But just pay attention. Make sure that the obligatory parts, the 4 parts, get water completely. The tips of the face, nose and mouth included. The tips of the finger to the elbows included. The face, okay, as we said, the borders of the face, and the feet. The back of the hair, the head and the ears included, and the feet. Make sure the foot special. That's when ويقول النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم ويل للأعقاب من النار ويل للأعقاب من النار. Warning of the back of the feet from the hellfire. Warning at the back of the feet of the hellfire. Because that's what people tend to forget. If your wudu is invalid, your salah is invalid. So be aware. Okay, and don't be negligent. Don't say, I didn't know. Prophet ﷺ ordered a man to go back and make wudu. And he saw him praying and their spot did not reach water. Water did not reach. So be aware of that. Alright? Any questions? Quick questions. We don't need to make it.
How much water are you supposed to?
Don't waste. Okay? Don't waste. Very thin line of water from the faucet. That should be sufficient.
تخليل الأصابع سنة.
تخليل الأصابع سنة. If you, especially طبعا in the hands, if your fingers, if you're gonna make wudu like this, and you're not making water reach in between, that's a problem. Especially they talk about the تخليل البراجم in the feet, the toes, because some people their toes are overlapping. So even if he washes it, put his foot under the sink, the water does not get in between. Okay? This person must make sure the water goes in between. Some people, most people, their toes look like they hate each other and they want to run away from each other. So the water flow in there freely. Then they don't have to make tafreed.
After making the wudu and put on the socks,
Yeah.
you want to go back to the another wudu. You have to take out your socks or can you?
Yeah. Again, الراجح and the stronger opinion that it's okay to wipe over the fabric socks if they are thick enough. Meaning, when you wipe on them, the water does not get wet and the water does not go through. Okay, so if you lose your wudu after you put your socks on tahara, meaning you have wudu and you put them on, and you lose your wudu and when I make a new wudu, then you can wipe over them. Okay, you wet your hands and you wipe only on the top. You go like this, only on the top, the right hand and left. ماشي? No, you can't make wudu with soda. Just in case the question is come, but it can before.
Does the water have to be running or it can wet to your hands?
No, it doesn't have to be running. You can take from a container and yeah.
Could it be like just wet hands? Does it have to have water
Yes,
in it
yes.
or just wet hands?
Yes.
Salt water is okay? Salt water is okay?
Salt water like seawater, of course. هو الحل ميتته هو الطهور ماؤه الحل ميتته. And as the Prophet said. But you don't add salt to water just for the. If you come across salty water, because it's still considered water. When the thing is taken out of its musamma and what is known as, then it becomes something called طاهر. فالعلماء, they divide water into three types: طهور, طاهر, and najis. Obviously, najis is out of the picture, and they differ between طاهر and طهور. طهور is what is allowed to use for wudu, and that is the water in its natural condition, the way Allah made it. With طاهر is a pure liquid, but lost musamma الماء. يعني it's not, people don't call it water anymore, but it's mainly water. Like tea. You have water and you add a tea bag, it becomes tea. People don't call it water. You don't go make wudu with that. But that's طاهر. Some of the ulama said no. They said water طهور or najis, because that طاهر you're talking about is not even water. It's something else. Yusuf? La, the neck is not. It's not reported in the Sunnah that the Prophet ﷺ wiped the neck. You just go hair and back and your ear.
When you're wiping the forearms, can you do it like this, or do you have to wipe down?
As long as water includes everything. Inshallah. طيب. جزاكم الله خير. مبارك.